Hi, I'm Dr. Marcia, Sirota, and today I want to talk about the old-fashioned values of loyalty, integrity, and honesty. I wanted to say that a lot of people think that these values are obsolete these days, and more self-related values are important to them. For example, self-actualization or self-care or self-awareness. And there's nothing wrong with all these self-related values, but values like honesty, loyalty, and integrity are more connected values. They're more values related to our interactions with other people. And I wanted to talk about why those are so important. And they're important because we live in community. And really the most important determinant of our happiness is our interconnectedness with others and our sense of belonging and oneness and community. So when we are completely focused on the self, we miss out on our sense of interconnectedness and our sense of community. And then it's harder to be happy. Even though we might be fully self-actualized, we might be very lonely and we might be very isolated and alienated. So it's so important to find that balance between self-care and connection with others. And so let's break down these three values of integrity, honesty, and loyalty. First of all, loyalty. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean putting up with mistreatment and sticking around forever. That's not loyalty. Loyalty is having a sense of responsibility toward another person or an institution where we feel like we're invested in the well-being of this other person or of this institution. For example, loyalty to a partner or to a friend or to a job. And so when things are difficult or challenging, we don't just quit or give up or leave. Now, of course, again, I'm not saying we put up with mistreatment or disrespect or bad behavior, but we try to weather the storms, we try to work through the challenges that we are having in these relationships, and we try to stick around because there's a payoff that's mutual. It's not just that we're helping the other, we also help ourselves, because when we have loyalty, we feel more connected, we feel more like we belong, we feel more like we're a part of something, like we're invested. And it feeds us, it feeds and nurtures our inner well-being. So loyalty actually creates a win-win. So where we are not loyal, and it's easy for us to just leave at that first sign of difficulty, we never get that sense of a deep connection and investment in a relationship, whether it's a relationship with another person, personally or professionally, or with a larger entity like a business or a community. So we need to recognize that loyalty is good for us, and it's good for the people that we're interacting with. Now let's talk about integrity. That's a really interesting one. What is integrity? Integrity is when we mean what we say and we do what we say we're going to do. So it's really about being consistent in our actions and our words, really following through with our promises. So when we have integrity, if we say, I promise I'm going to do this, we do it. When we have integrity, we say, you know, I believe in such and such, then we actually do believe in it. Or if we say, I am going to help you with this, then we show up and we help the other person or the institution or the business. So integrity is really meaning what we say, doing what we say we're going to do, keeping our promises, and following through with our actions. And why is that important? Well, because people trust us when we have integrity. When we have integrity, people know they can count on us, they can depend on us, they can rely on us, and they don't have to worry about whether we mean what we say or not. And so they feel relaxed with us and they feel more connected to us. And when they trust us and feel more connected to us, well, of course, then we're going to feel more connected to them. And when we are acting with integrity, people like us more and they feel more warmly toward us. And again, that makes us feel good. It just makes us happier and it makes us feel good about ourselves. It boosts our self-esteem. So having integrity is good for our self-esteem. It's good for our connections with others. And it makes us just feel calmer and happier. So acting with integrity, it seems kind of self-evident, but it bears explaining. It's a really important value. And finally, honesty, which is kind of an aspect of integrity. And that's just telling the truth, but it's also about not committing the sin of omission, because obviously there's the sin of commission, which is to commit a falsehood, to tell a lie, but there's also the sin of omission, which is simply to fail to say the truth or to fail to open up and confess. So whether you're committing or omitting, it's still dishonesty. And why is honesty important? Again, it leads to trust, it leads to a sense of connection with others, and it leads to warm feelings, and it leads to self-esteem. When we are honest with others, we feel we can trust one another. And when we're honest with them, it encourages them to be more honest with us. And also, when we're being honest, it's easier to tell when someone is being dishonest. And it helps us to identify who is a person acting with honesty and who is a person acting with dishonesty. So being honest, again, it seems kind of simple, but it's really very profound because it helps us connect more deeply with others and build meaningful relationships. When we have superficial relationships that are based on not really trusting one another, not really knowing one another, it's very hard to feel that sense of connection. When we're honest, we know one another because we are not hiding, we are not omitting the truth, we are not telling falsehoods. And it creates deeper and more meaningful relationships. Now, of course, there's different kinds of honesty. You're not going to reveal intimate things about yourself in a business context, but there's still ways that you can be honest at work and not dishonest. For example, not stealing from the workplace. That's a way of being honest. Not cheating at work. That's a way of being honest as well. So there are lots of different ways to be honest, not just in telling the truth or not telling lies. So honesty, loyalty, and integrity are important values, not only because they're good for others, but they're good for ourselves. They help us feel more connected. They help us build trusting, deep, meaningful relationships, which are very nurturing to our well-being. And they help us feel good about ourselves and build our self-worth and our self-esteem. So it's really a win-win to have these values. And so I recommend looking within yourself and asking yourself, is there a place where I can have more integrity, loyalty, and honesty in my personal and professional relationships? I'm Dr. Marcia Sirota, talking to you today about old-fashioned values of loyalty, honesty, and integrity. Stay tuned for more videos on mental health and wellness topics.